Learning to let go of all distractions in order for you to regain your inner self. No, we're going to say fast from the world and feed your spirit. So that's what it is. Yes. We're going to fast from the world and feed the spirit. The world is noisy. There's everyday constant stimulation going on every day. Every day. Our lives are full of noise. Our lives are full of distractions. Our lives are full of so many things that weigh us down and causes us to disconnect from each other and from ourselves. And that is why sometimes you have to take a step back in order for you to clear your minds, clear your aura, clear your energy, and reshift your focus back to what is important in your life. It is so easy to feel disconnected from yourself. It is so easy to feel disconnected from your purpose. It's easy to feel disconnected from the Creator. And a lot of times, because we have so much going on in our lives, the world is constantly moving. We are constantly being bombarded with, chaos, spiritual warfare, job, stress, bills, kids, families, friends, like relationships, everything. And we can disconnect from ourselves, and we can sometimes feel like there's no purpose for us, or we feel like so much going on that we don't set the tone for ourselves to really just go within. And that is important. It's really, really important. Sometimes you have to take a step away from what's going on in the world to reconnect with your spirit. And when you reconnect with your spirit, you have to pray and seek divine clarity and, do everything you need to do in order to take the steps to reconnect with yourself. Whether that's, going to, in healing, faith, praying to God, asking God to give you direction, and, really just going within. It's so needed. So let's talk about that. The world is constantly moving, as I stated before. There's so much overload of junk. And we are constantly putting all of that in our mind. We're constantly, like I said, stimulated with social media, news, the opinions of people, being around people, and, work, jobs, businesses, everything. And sometimes that can create a burnout within yourself. Like, for instance, for some reason, early part of the week, I was feeling extremely exhausted. And it was more so coming from a place of emotional exhaustion. Like, I don't know what that came about. Even though I was even being active at the gym, I still was coming home just feeling burnt out emotionally. And for me, because I'm very, very in tune with myself, and I do a lot of, self-work, and I do a lot of things where it's going to help me stimulate my mind better. I mean, if it's just taking a step back from social media, taking a step back from the world and the news and all of that crazy stuff going on, or taking a step back from work and just really just diving deep, I felt very, very overstimulated. And it was like to the point where I don't know what was going on with me. And then I was dealing with something else as well. So I think that has something to do with it too. But I had to really go within and do a check-in. And sometimes you have to do that. You have to do check-ins with yourself, because if you don't, you will get exhausted. You will get mentally exhausted. You will be emotionally exhausted. Physical, all of that plays a part. And it does something to your spirit, and it does something to your body. And it can cause, you to, outside of the emotional part, and it can mess up your health. Like, we don't realize that all of that intertwines. Your physical, your mental, your emotional, all of that plays a part. And so when one of them is unbalanced, it triggers the other. And that's why it's so important to really take a step back and say, let me feed my spirit. Let me do a check-in with myself to see how I am feeling. Emotional burnout is very, very real. And you can be a person who is functioning, doing everything right. I mean, as far as like going to work, checking, doing everything you need. You think that is okay, and that's active in your life, and that you think that is pretty much what you've been doing. But a lot of people are functioning depression. Like, they're depressed, but they're functioning. So they're not really understanding what it means. And I know I've been in that space where I'm feeling like everything's going okay, but deep down in my heart, I'm like, I'm feeling burnt out. I'm feeling I'm feeling just not myself, my spirit, my mind feeling all over the place. I'm feeling some type of spiritual dullness within myself. Like, that is real. And you can feel empty, and you can't pour if you're feeling empty. You can't pour into a cup if you're empty. So it's like you have to really, really, really do check-ins, and you have to sometimes take a step back, let go of, disconnect. I say a big thing for me is like disconnecting from, even like a couple of days ago, I think it was on Sunday or Saturday, I just like put my phone down. I turned my phone off, I think, and I just kind of like sat and just maybe watch some TV or read. I forget what I did, but I remember turning, because I have two phones. So I turned both of them. One of them was off, and the other one I think I was maybe like checking in on, like looking up stuff. But sometimes we have to let go of that too, because most people, have social media or some form of social media. And so not even just the social media part, it's like even other apps. There are so many different stuff on our phone that causes us to be so distracted. And we, like I said, lose sense of our purpose. We lose sense of ourselves because we have so much going on. So sometimes you have to be very, very mindful of that. So because sometimes we are so overstimulated and we have so much going on, we have to learn to fast. And I am learning that is so important myself. I have done fasts before. Like, I have done social media fasts. To me, that's easy for me. A social media fast is so easy. I went on my first social media fast, I think in 2020, 2021, somewhere around that time. And I did it for like a couple of months. And when I did it, it was, oh my God, I felt great. And then I did it again. I think I maybe like was on social media, but like I would just check in like once a month. Doing things like that and fasting from that will help you. You will see a big difference in how you feel. Because a lot of times we on social media, especially now we have TikTok, and the amount of time you're on there, you'd be surprised. The amount of time you're scrolling on social media, there's an hour, 2, 3, 4 hours going by. And then you don't even realize that you just spent 4 or 5 hours on an app, on your phone, when you could have been doing something that's going to stimulate your mind, whether if it's reading, going to the gym, picking up a hobby that's going to help you and motivate you, or, hanging out with friends and family, like doing something active outside of spending that time just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. So what does fasting from the world means? Letting go social media, definitely. Don't indulge in gossip and toxic conversations. That is also important. If you have people in your life who are toxic, you have to let that go as well. Toxic does not do anything good for you when you are trying to reconnect with yourself, and when you are trying to gain clarity on your life and feed the spirit. Over consuming entertainment, once again, I'm going back to social media, or entertaining people that does not mean you any good. Letting go of relationships, and whether if it's intimate or friendships that is not meaningful to you or draining. If you have people in your life that is a little draining to you, you might have to take a step back. That is another way of fasting. Eating the proper foods is fasting. Consuming junk food does not feed the spirit. It really does not. It actually puts you in a very low vibration. And the things that you consume does affect your mental health, and it also affects you emotionally. And it affects you physically. Don't consume junk. Like, we have to learn that having a healthy lifestyle consists of gym. Anything that's going to be active physically. Walking, swimming, going out in nature, going to the park and just absorbing the air and the trees, and absorbing, that feeling of prana and everything else. All of that, I'm telling you, it does something to your soul. And if you don't understand how that does affect your mood, it makes everything, it helps you balance. It really does keep you balanced. Feeding your spirit organically is going to create a healthier dynamic and frequency for yourself. One of my favorites when I think of feeding, the spirit, is prayer, journaling, and meditating. Like, you don't understand how much that helps you balance. Walking in nature, as I stated before, reading scriptures is so needed. What I do is, a lot of times, I listen to a lot of worship music. I listen to worship quiet music. I listen to meditational music. I listen to different frequency music. It helps balance my mind, and it helps balance me just with overall. I pray actively. I pray, and I talk to God. I literally will be in my house, in my bedroom, talking to God. I have an active prayer life, and I think that has always kept me grounded, even when I have lost myself in the past. I was going through things, because I always had a very close relationship with God, and I always prayed, even as a young child. That kept me solid, and it kept my spirit fed. And sometimes you have to really go within and dive deep into that, because that is going to be the foundation that's going to help you let go of what's going on in your life and create a healthier balance. Like, we have to really understand what it means to fast from the world. Fasting from the world is letting go all of this chaos. There's so much spiritual warfare going on right now. And if you don't learn to don't indulge in everything that you see, it does put you in a very lower vibration. Like, because I'm very intuitive, I go within a lot. I'm always, okay, let me just say this. I don't mind hanging out in the world. I go out sometimes. I like to be social when I feel like it. But when I'm like feeling overstimulated, even in my house, I don't know, my vibe is just off. So sometimes when I'm on social media and I can feel myself being on there a little too much, I quickly deactivate. Like, I'm sure people might be looking like, dang, she be on and off. Yes, I am that type of person. If I feel overstimulated with so much chaos going on, or for instance, just seeing like it's a lot going on in the world. It's so much unbalance. So that affect me a lot mentally, and it does. And because I'm so in tuned and I understand what that means and it looks like, it's hard for me to let that go, to say I can do both. I can't do both. I have to let certain parts of all of that go. If it's messing up my mental, if it's causing me to lose part of myself, meaning like my vibration is low, I'm feeling overindulged, I am unbalanced, my energy is just all over the place, I have to keep myself balanced. I know, because we're humans and we're going to have days. And as a woman, trust me, definitely have days. But because I recognize when I am feeling down, I can be able to regroup and reshape myself and say, wait a minute, take a step back. And that's why, for whoever's listening to this, understand that you have to connect with yourself sometimes. And what that looks like is going within and taking a step back from everything around you, so that way you can hear. A lot of times people say, how do I hear God? Or how do I, hear my spirit talking to me? It's hard to hear that if you have so much going on. If you are constantly stimulated with so much BS, you are constantly, on social media, you are around people that's just, the vibes are low, the energy is off, or you have, so many distractions going on, and the noise is loud, you are not going to. Once you gain that closeness with God, you're able to hear him a lot more, because now you understand the power of being by yourself. You understand that it's important to go in silence in order for you to regroup and to regroup and to find peace, to create that balance. Creating balance in your life is great. Practicing gratitude. That's how you feed your spirit. You practice gratitude. You create a space of serenity and guidance. Learn to starve all of the noise on the outside and pray and ask God to show you and help you understand what is the right direction for you to go. Ask God and pray for discernment. Pray and ask God to align your spirit. Pray for alignment. Pray for peace. Pray for change. Pray and ask God to help you to let go of distractions, to not entertain people who does not correlate with your soul, who does not align with your soul. Those are the things that you need to do to feed the spirit. Create healthier relationships by creating boundaries. Learn to let go of anything that is not going to benefit you in a healthier way. It's needed. It's so needed. And I hope whoever listening to this, that you gain something. And understand that wherever you at in your life, you too can create the balance that is needed. Take a step back from everything, so that way you can hear, so that way you can see, and feed your soul, feed your spirit. Disconnect from the noise. Disconnect from toxic Disconnect from social media. It doesn't have to be permanently. If you can, then do that. But disconnect so you can reconnect. And that is the foundation that is going to align you for where you have to go.